Happy Holiday Monday, everybody. Welcome back to Woodbine Mohawk Park for night 4 of our rotation here as we welcome you back to Campbellville, Ontario. 10 dashes on tap coming your way in 45 minutes time. Temperature continues to get warmer. Right now, there was some sun out today, a little bit of thaw going on in the track, but we are expected to drop a couple of more degrees, which will help firm that up. That is the hope as the crew continues to work on that racing surface. Right now listed as fast to kick off the card. Let's get you caught up with the early changes on our 10-race program. Race number 1 to start the early pick 5, guaranteed at $75,000. The 5 Hadley is going to be a vet 6 scratch. Take out number 5 Hadley sick. Number 7 Angel Mistress will remove the blind bridle and adds a screen. Blind bridle off, screen is added to number 7 Angel Mistress. Over to tonight's second race, number 1, Kinder Ice Cube. Up front shoe change from steel to aluminum. Steel to aluminum shoes up front on the 1. The 3 Acrobatic will go blind to can't see back. Blind to can't see back on the 3. And scratch number 8, Race Director Vet 6. Take out the 8, Race Director. Third race to start the early pick 4, no changes. Pick 6 begins in race 4, and we kick it off with a carryover of just under $6,500. That'll seed the pool. No changes in the opening leg. Race number 5, number 1, Don't Change My Name, removes the screen. Take the screen off number 1, Don't Change My Name in the 5th. Sixth race, back half of the card, starts another pick 5, no changes. Late pick 4 underway in the 7th, all clear. This evening's 8th race, number 5, Catch Me Gracefully is missing a chart line. Let's get you caught up with that. Catch Me Gracefully. Racing here on Friday, February the 13th. Daryl Thiessen drove at post 6 and anometers of 2,500 last 4. She got away 6th. Was 6th still at the half, but on the move. 8th then and wide on the 3/4 before finishing 8th and beaten 8 1/4, individually timed in 1:55 and 2. That was Catch Me Gracefully here on Friday. That was on a fast track. Race number 9, number 6, I'm a Cute Little Stalker. Blinkers to a blind bridle. Blinkers to blind. The change on 6, I'm a Cute Little Stalker. And tonight's finale, race number 10. Jackpot High Five carryover coming into tonight, just the one-night carryover of just under $4,400. There was a race office error. Bob McClure is actually driving the 7 Move Your Mass. So we need a driver on the 2 Bless Me Father. Driver to be announced on the 2 Bless Me Father in the finale. Those are all the early changes. 42 away from the first of 10 on a Monday night at Mohawk Park. Sit tight. Woodbine Racing Live is up next.
Still the best, 19 in a row. Campbell
down to the wire. Amity Chef wins the Simcoe Stakes.
He's big, he's strong, and he has got it going on. Cup 25, Canada's horse. Some week somewhere.
Yeah, motivated on focus.
There, up and pacing.
This is the moment. Gotta one up my opponent.
McWicked on the outside.
Gotta get it on mindset. Gotta put it in motion. No hang time, man, they can't keep up. The game's on the line, seconds.
Lean back, get your picture taken.
Crowning moment on Canadian soil for Bulldog Hanover.
Motivated on focus.
A late push from Confederate. It's my show. Wins the big show.
This is the moment.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome inside the studio here as we welcome you to Woodbine Racing Live on night 4 of our 4-day rotation. Chad Rosema in studio before jetting upstairs to call the action. That's where I'll have to part ways with my Hall of Fame buddy, Randy Waples, who is in studio with me here. Happy Family Day.
That's
too. Our provincial holiday here, south of the border, President's Day. So everybody enjoying a long weekend this weekend and hopefully get to take in some action. Jeff Bratt was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, I understand he overindulged in some Valentine's chocolates.
Uh-oh. Wow.
Yeah. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there. And he just couldn't recover in time.
Yeah. Wow, the Bratster, you know what I mean? And
my holidays are gonna be coming up soon. He's gonna be pretty busy in the 4-day rotation a week there. So rest up, my friend.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. You've been getting him back up to speed.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. This is it. Now he's going to get
into working shape. We'll
trained
call
up.
it.
Now he's going to have
That's
to
right.
get into the heavy lifting.
Yeah, that's right. I think yesterday the support we had in the wagering was solid. Appreciate everybody playing along, but I think a big part of that was probably the long weekend. Some didn't have to say, well, you know what, I got to go to work tomorrow morning. They were able to kind of take in some action. I thought we had a nice flow to the races last night. It was kind of consistently, we had a consistent time in between each of them. The only one where we really had the additional was for good reason, the Pick 5 carryover. But you and I were talking on the way home last night. It just felt like a fun night.
It was like a really fun night. I mean, whether it was because of the warm weather or not, it just seemed like the horses were out there a little bit longer. You didn't have to strain your eyes through the snowstorm to find them, and that kind of stuff. And it just, honestly, Chad, last night, for whatever reason, it just seemed like it kind of reminded me of racing, 10, 20 years ago there, when it was like really exciting like that last night.
There was a little bit of action, and I know, like, for me specifically in my job, I like to see that, right? To have a little more something to call, and then when we had some dramatics at the finish, right? I mean, the one race, there was like 6 or 7 of them that were kind of right there within a couple of lengths of each other. The backfield was coming alive. We had a bunch of upsets, none bigger than what we saw in race number 2, but Dean Nixon had 2 wins, 2 upsets.
Stay pumped.
Yeah, but Stay Pump was the first one at 57-1, and this was a horse that, like, right now Tyler Borth was sitting 6th along the inside, and when they were turning for home, I could kind of see him in behind horses, and it looked like he was a horse that maybe had some interest.
Yep.
And then, now he's going to start to angle out, and the backfield was able to come to life last night on a bunch of races. I don't know, does that mean there's a little more give in it?
No, I think it's just more down to chance that it was maybe a little bit of a tiring track.
Oh,
and if you do too much too early, it's gonna cost you. You know. And he gave her a good trip. That's the big thing that I'm seeing.
A little substance to a little deepness, maybe that would tire some horses on the front.
So.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, they've been dumping fresh material on, even tonight, because you got to soak up that wet stuff. So it's a little bit deeper than what they've been used to, because it's been hard as a stone, because it's been minus 30 every night, So, I think it was just maybe a little bit tired. We didn't see any real ridiculously fast miles until the end of the card. Then they started pacing quicker miles because it was a little bit cooler and tightened the track up. So I think tonight will start the same way. We were out on the track a little bit earlier, you and I, and it's wet. There's no doubt about that. But once the sun goes away, it should tighten up. And as the night goes on, as long as we don't get any rain, it'll just keep tightening up.
And I mean, the way the track has, or the winter has been, I mean, the track could be loaded with some frost under there, right?
That'll be deep.
Because it's been cold, it's been long, it's been consistent, and we're going to need a few of these sunny days to maybe have that out.
Clean it out.
If we were as fortunate as someone like you who's got the heated driveway at home, if we could install that, you know what I mean? It'd be a little bit better. Wouldn't have to worry about that. But
I'd trade in the heated driveway for a heated toilet seat some days.
There you go. Safe Conduct was able to repeat at the open level in the trot, and I thought showing some grit and determination. I'll tell you, when Bob started to call on him, I thought, I don't know, is he going to respond? But he did. And Christophers have done a great job with this guy.
Oh, they have, yeah. And I actually talked to Bob briefly afterwards there, and he said to me, because we had him singled in our pick 5, so we needed him.
Yes, that's right.
We needed him. So I thanked Bobby afterwards there, and he said at the head of the lane, he said, I thought I was done. He said, I really thought the best I was going to do was 4th. And then as soon as those horses got up alongside of him, he said everything just changed, and he just went right with them. Like, what a classy old individual. Just pure class. Absolutely, yeah. Great for the Christophers, I mean, I'm sure that their fingers were crossed how he was going to come out of, what happened a few weeks ago. He's come out really, really good.
Yeah, no, and if he stays together, he could have a big year here,
Yeah,
but,
he could.
Off to a good start, that's for sure. So we know that, a lot of long shots throughout the night, especially early on. That helped, as we talked about, trigger the pick 5 carryover, which certainly isn't a very common thing with the early, because the early pool is always bigger. And when you have the 20-cent option, there's a lot of horses covered. And I'll even say, going into the final leg, I mean, there were still 5 of 10 horses covered, and 5 very logical ones in there.
Yep.
But Jody was able to split horses late with Better Be Going and got the upset, which did trigger that. So 72,000 plus went in. And we gave as much time as you really could
Yeah.
without really dragging.
Right.
And they still bet. I mean, the bettors are, thank goodness for them. They bet $207,000 plus of new money.
Wow.
Into that late pick 5 on short notice. You and Elisa, I remember being upstairs and watching, and you guys were on the fly saying, let's put together a consensus ticket. I know you guys both had a late
Yeah.
pick 5.
Yeah.
How did those do? Were those
well,
winners or not?
It's very close. Mine was very close to
what
this
you
one,
guys did here?
except I would have never. I didn't have the one horse on my ticket. Had him in for third, but didn't
In
use
race
him on
6?
my ticket.
Okay.
Elisa insisted we put the one horse in, and he's the one that got it
Is that
rolling.
Seafarer?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay, Thiessen.
yes.
Yeah. So you guys started off great. You were hoping for a price in the 8th, which you got. That was calling up the inside, wasn't it?
Yes, Captain Highliner.
Yes,
Yeah.
at a big
yeah,
price.
$36 winner.
Then you sweat out your
Yes.
your single, and then you only had 2 options in the finale. Good news is, despite it not being a great night for the favorites, you end up getting Safe Conduct, but then you also got JF McGuire's charge.
Devil's Arch,
yeah.
and we had him backed up with the horse from the rail.
Brady
Distance
Galliers,
learning.
right? Yes.
Yes. So we were pretty good. The big thing was getting through the Safe Conduct. That was the big thing. He's on good form, but still, you're singling a horse in the open. It's a tough call.
So if you tailed them, $43,
$43, yeah.
and I paid 600 and change. I
yeah,
think, for a 20 center.
660.
There you go.
If the other horse wins the last race, the Distance Learning, then it pays $1,100. So
For a
we were
20
down
center,
to
yeah.
2 of them, and
Yeah.
but still, it was fun. It was fun to do it. It was fun to watch it materialize. You know what I mean? It was just it was a lot of fun.
Nice little profit.
Yeah.
All right. Well done. I know you're going to be back. Randy will have some tickets here tonight as well. Before we get into the Monday breakdown, as we like to do, stats on a Monday, see what's been going on over the last few cards here, who's been doing what. And I'm not sure anybody's been necessarily dominating, have they? But as we look at this, James, who's now going to be away for 2 weeks, he left for Australia today. He and Paige are gone there. He's got that driver challenge, but I think he's going to enjoy also a little more downtime while he's there. So James with 8 wins, but Bob McClure's been kind of picking his spots, right? He's having a limited schedule, but doing very well with the limited opportunities right now. And obviously he's, as we get closer and closer to the nice weather, we know the excitement he can probably feel.
Oh, yeah.
For what horse he knows is going to be coming back.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he'll probably make a trip to Florida soon to
Oh,
maybe
I would have to think.
have a look.
Yeah.
And then Travis Cullen continues to do really nice things. I believe he might be tied with James atop overall in our standings.
And James is
right
gone
there.
for 2 weeks.
Yep. And then Daryl Thiessen. I mean, one thing I've noticed with Daryl is that, and it doesn't always work, but it does work often because he'll give, it doesn't matter what the price is. He seems to, he'll take a shot.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes maybe it's in the wrong spot.
Yeah,
but he's aggressive.
He'll do it, and maybe he's got some 40-1 shot to finish second.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
And as a driver, he's tough to figure, and that's good for him. You don't want people being able to guess what you're going to do, So
Yeah.
I like the way that he's driving right now. James driving good, Bobby driving, excellent per usual. The one that I want to just briefly touch on is Travis Cullen, because you've been around here too since he showed up. His driving was good when he got here, but not even close to the way he drives now. This kid is really, his driving has really gone different ways, I think. I think he should be really proud of the way he drives a horse.
And I mean, everybody, as far as his horseman ability, I don't think that was ever
unbelievable.
questioned.
No, just unbelievable. But again, you call every race. I mean, just the way. Do you ever see him get too into a horse? Do you ever see him really be in a wrong position?
Yeah.
No, he just really turned himself into a top quality driver, as good as that's out there.
So that's a look at the drivers. We know this will look a little bit different next week, obviously, with James not here. Dougie's going to be back. I think this is the last day of his days, so he'll be back as well. Louis Waz just kind of getting rolling. As for trainers, Jody Cullen continues to do really nice things, leads the standings overall. Gary Murner, Kyle Fellows, and Ron McDonald's barn, including that open. Really good.
Yeah, unbelievable, and I mean, it's great to see his horses racing good, but boy, oh boy, I mean, when Salzburg Victor walked onto the track the other night and the lights hit him, wow, you could have combed your hair in his hide. He looks amazing, and if anything, you're going to fault him, maybe he's just a little bit heavy. That's the way I'd rather see him, Just runs an amazing outfit, Ron McDonald. Congratulations.
Yep, no, raced great. So congrats to everybody for leading the standings, and, we'll continue on. here now over the next week. But as we say, things could look a little bit different with maybe some mix-up in the drivers, and we could be having a new driver into the mix here soon too.
Yeah, I've been hearing the rumors there that another blue and yellow man might be coming back up north of the border. What about you? Are you kind of like getting kind of stoked up with the idea of maybe, calling a Bojangles? Like, this is a big year for harness racing.
I haven't put much thought into it just yet, but I mean, what is in the back of my mind is I know from when you and I would work in here, and even, prior to you being here when I worked with others, we would start early on in the new year talking about NA Cup.
Yeah.
And then we'd get to the NA Cup and we'd say, oh my goodness, we
It's
thought we
already
were
here.
just saying,
Yeah.
it's going to be here in 6 months.
Yeah, yeah.
And we know it'll be here anytime. I mean, actually, the major stakes, the first sustaining payment, would have just wrapped up on the 15th.
But wouldn't you say that this is probably one of the most exciting build-up to a North American Cup that we've seen in a long time?
100%.
Yeah.
Because
since
we've
I'm going to
got
go back to beach.
Well, I was going to say, because we've
beach.
got a some beach somewhere type presence.
Yes.
I mean, every sport loves to have that
superstar,
phenom
right,
that you can rally around.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's the kind of situation, especially with us in a gambling sport, we know you're not going to get rich off of betting him in most instances.
Right.
But you just appreciate having that, and everybody rallies around him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's not just North America. I know there's people around the world talking about this guy.
Yeah.
You
And
know
what
I'm
gets
saying?
me too is the same thing with the Some Beach Somewhere, and the same thing with this guy. I don't think that Bojangles was an overly expensive yearling. I don't quite remember, but I know Beach was like around maybe 40 to 50 in that range. And what I like about horses like Bojangles and Some Beach Somewhere, it means that you and I could own a horse like that one day. They didn't go out and pay $500,000 for him as a baby. You and I could be a part owner of a Bojangles or a Some Beach Somewhere,
If you
or
put up
anybody out there.
39.5, I'm in.
And anybody out there, I mean, this is what the beauty of these kinds of horses. It means that, yes, we can still compete.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No, it is exciting. That's for sure. Okay. We look forward to that. We're going to dive into tonight's card as a whole. How does it look?
I think it's going to be a little bit chalky tonight.
Chalky, okay.
Yes, that's what I'm looking at. I think you're going to have to pick the right places to try to get your multi-legs paid off.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got those great multi-legs lined up for you. The early pick 5, of course, guaranteed at 75. We know Randy's going to be diving in. He's going to try and help you out here with one that you might want to consider in this spot as well. Your focus horse, Validus, who opens up right now, 6-5 favorite.
Yeah, I mean, what a mile last week on this one. Huge effort is what I got down. She had the 10-hole to work with in her last. Louis Waugh driving. He comes
Had he
out
ever
of there.
been aboard her before?
I don't think so. I don't
her.
remember him
Yeah.
driving her either. But I mean, one of the big things that we noticed with Louis, he can adjust to anything.
Yep.
He could adjust to me, for the love of God, and that's not exactly an easy thing to do. So let's take a look at this replay. And she raced incredibly well from the 10-hole. Multiple moves. She is going to get tracked down, but I'm thinking that we might be looking at a bit of a special horse with this Royal Flush Deo. We're going to see him later on tonight with the Squire, the head honcho of the stable, is in town.
Yep.
Going to be driving him. He said, hey, listen, you guys, Standardbred Canada wants to say Mark McDonald is potentially coming back to Canada. Well, Anthony's going to be
Anthony
here
says I'll
tonight.
be here.
That's
Yep.
right. So let's take a look at this one. I mean, out of the 10-hole, multiple moves, and does she want to give it up to this horse? You tell me.
Yeah, no, she's trying to battle back, but I agree with you. The Royal Flush Dale's bred to be a good one.
And I think he is
just
a good one.
starting to put it together.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I
he's
mean?
a Walner, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? He's got a lot going for him in here, but boy, what a mile she went. We got a scratch. It's going to move her down into the 5-hole. The last time she had the 5-hole here, 2 starts down, she was a winner there for James. Bet right down. Same class that she's going to come back in here tonight. I think Validus is a single, my friend.
Okay, well, I mean, a better draw. If she's anything like that last effort, she should be tough in here. I do want to quickly ask you about the Hitman Heart, because we know the lineage there with the Logan Park ties in. They pay big money in the local sale. That last start, I mean, it's never too late to get it going.
No. No, and difference of night and days when going on to the Lasix. I mean, look at the last quarter, 29-3, you know, a winner. But to the same effect, was it all the Lasix? Was it the horse that much better? Or did the fact that Jonathan Drury just absolutely tripped this guy to death, even to the point where he never left the pylons? That win was not a move to the outside. That was a pylon skim. So I got to see him do it from the outside. I just think a lot of what he accomplished last week was due to the driver.
Okay, so we kick off our Monday 10-pack with a field of trotters. We're going to go and stick with trotters in race number 2. Nominators of 1 for 5 and under in this next one. Also eligible in here, nominators of $100 in their last 4 starts. The 8's out of this spot. Morning line favorite from post 3 is Acrobatic for Matt Bax and company. This one getting picked off last time by the aforementioned, the Hitman Hart, who she doesn't deal with that one here tonight. Who did you end up going with?
I went with the 6-horse, Divine Love.
Divine Love?
Yeah, that's going to be my top one.
Just looking for the rebound off of the breaking effort last time?
Yeah, you know something, I mean, how many times you and I worked this show together and we've said, you know, sometimes the rail can be tricky.
I was just going to say,
yeah.
Is
And
that what it was?
Sure enough, yeah, I think so. You know, she gets the rail, boom, she makes a break. No, she did make a break out of the 6-hole, which she has here tonight, but that was coming out of the gate. This was before, you know, right at the gate, rail backing into her, but look at the recovery. She ends up stringing together. She comes her last 3 quarters charted in 127 and 2. And, you know, only gets beat 2 lengths on the end of it. Short field, now down to a field of 7. He's got the middle of the gate. I think he can just float her. I mean, he had the 4-hole when he qualified her, JR, and he basically just floated her to the back, but she made good grounds on the end of it. I just don't see anybody in here being able to hold her off, no matter where he ends up with her. So Divine Love is where I'm going.
Well, in a lot of instances, when something like this happens, we can either, you know, try and find the time to either reach out to Pam or JR, whatever it may be, but a lot of times we just don't get into that situation, so we have to speculate. Well, not in this instance, because John Rallis, who's been busy with some interviews, he's picked his spots, and we've got a couple here tonight. J.R. Plant seems to be the subject guy that's going to be focusing in on this week, and we're going to hear right now from what his thoughts were on Divine Love in the latest.
It's like, take it really, really easy off the gate. If she can survive that first 8, I think she'll behave the rest. But last week I thought I took it easy enough, but I guess I have to take it even more easy. It truly is these young trotters sometimes. They can't go through their gate just yet. So that's what happened. Even finishing, she wanted to run also. So I was talking to the trainer. Hopefully they make a few changes, and she'll be a little bit more smooth this week, because she can really win that race if she stays flat the whole time.
All right, so some good stuff there from JR, and it just sounds like,
he's going to walk her out of there.
He's got to be a little careful, and I mean, he seems confident, so he probably feels, especially after seeing what she was able to do recovery-wise in the latest, when spotting them several, if he does walk her out of there and she doesn't spot them all those lengths, he knows she can probably outfinish them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure. I don't see anybody in here on paper that can beat her, but you can take from the other part of the interview of his that you kind of weed around. He's not 100% sure if she's going to stay flat. You can just tell, like, he's going to have to walk her out of there. I don't even know if that's going to work. She tried to make a break on me down the stretch, finishing, you know what I mean? So he's a little, and to tell you the truth, as much as I do like her in here, I alled this race in my pick 5.
You hit an all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, she'll get a lot of play, and
She'll
if
get
she
a lot of
happens
play.
to not see it through,
but again, would you play her at 1 to what she's going to be at?
No.
But you wouldn't play anything there because you're just too cheap.
Well,
okay.
You know where the Rosemont name comes from. Okay. We're going to go over to race number 3. We get into our early pick 4 now. We're going to stick with the trotters. A pretty trot-heavy program here tonight on this Monday card. Nominators of 3 in this spot are $50,000. Lifetime for the 5 and under. Group of 7. Captain Vania is going to move to Kyle Boston's barn. Gets on the Lasix program as well. This might be one to keep an eye on.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be right away like we just saw with the other Boston student.
Right.
Did you end up including him somewhere?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
This scares me.
Right on top?
No.
Okay.
I put him in for 4th because I'm hoping that he doesn't overdo it. I like a horse to be raced on Lasix the first time very little, so they can still win. You know what I mean? But the second week, then when they realize that this, bad feeling isn't going to happen to them, then they can be that much better. If you overdo it the first time on Lasix, she could never get ahead of them again. But I've loved this horse all along. Really think that Trevor's done an incredible job with this guy. I think I'm hearing that Trevor's away on vacation right now.
Yep.
Him and Shannon.
Cabo, I think, yep.
Yeah, so now they've turned him over to, Kyle Bossons, and he's going to be training him. Travis Henry going to be picking him up. I threw him in for 4th because, like I said, I hope that he goes a little bit easy. But even if he goes easy, I honestly do believe that Lasix, this horse could win this race. Sitting dead last and completely out of it on Lasix, I think that he can go right around the entire field and take the cake on the end of it. But that's just what I think. Logically, I'm going to go with J-Port Cash in here. I think that he's the horse to go with. Bonito Boy, going to throw him in for 2nd. Racing great for Team Hensley right
he
now.
is. Yeah.
What about the one horse, My Way? This horse shows me so much talent, but sometimes he just gets himself into a horrible position. He's
so far back.
Yeah, but he's had bad posts, a couple of bad posts in his last. Now he goes to the rail, which is not really an easier post than the 7 and the 8. You know what I mean? I threw him in for 3rd, but again, another horse that I think if something in here gets overcooked, I think Pat can capitalize.
Yeah, the one that would be a little easier to latch on to for a piece of it would be Florida Guy if he didn't have all the breaks in the schedule. And it's not, it's, most of it is, all of it's actually kind of just out of his control. It's not like he's sick or anything like that. And it's got to be frustrating for Katerina because we know where she's stabled. That's some tough driving when the weather's poor and when the cold is and you're taking care of them and that. But Florida Guy is one that if he can just kind of get back on a regular rotation, I think
what
he
would
can.
Grand Valley be, about 5 minutes from Elmira?
A little bit further. Okay. Yeah, a little bit further. But
that's in the zone.
It's in the snow zone, that's for sure. Most of Ontario has been this year. We're going to skip over race 4, but do note in race number 4, we do have the pick 6 starting with a carryover of nearly $6,500. So that'll seat it. We've had a bunch of carryovers lately, a couple pick 6s and then the pick 5 there last night. Race number 5, we'll head to another trot race to anchor the early pick 5, field of 9, the aforementioned Royal Flush Deo. He's going to stay at the same classification, 2nd start Lasix. James away, so Anthony is in town. He says, I'll take over.
Yeah.
And Anthony, obviously very familiar with him, and he's got a good draw. And I just think that this horse, because I know, even James was saying off of that qualifier, because it was a qualifier I might have profiled.
I think you did.
In a qualifier report.
Yeah.
And he just said, he wasn't, poetry in motion.
No.
Right? But he was able to finesse him around.
Yeah.
You find that a horse, when he can, come up with some wins, and you can tell they're still being a little careful with him, he's going to gain a little more confidence that way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think we saw that in his last start. I thought he was way better. And you want to know why? I think that the Lasix solidified everything. I think that when a horse is bleeding and they're not... it's more sporadic. You know what I mean? You're not really going to get, but once they get on Lasix and they realize, then you get the true horse. So I think that Lasix really, really helped him. He's going to be my top pick in here. I think Anthony's going to have a nice ride with this guy. I'm going to throw one at you, Chad. I'm kind of proud of my 2nd pick in here because I do truly believe that if anything goes bad with the 6 horse, my horse can get the job done. Who do you like in there for 2nd?
Who do I like for 2nd? Well, I think there's a couple that you could maybe consider, but one that I wouldn't mind trying in here, just because things have changed since going to Flamborough, the outside with Burt Renault and Julie Walker. For this Len Gamble homebred Angel Fly Away. I know the last couple of starts here, maybe not all that appealing, but a trip to Flamborough seems to have helped her out a bit. I know it's a tricky draw, but if Burke can find somewhere where she might be someone that could, maybe spice up the exotics, because Royal Flush Dale is going to be a short price. But I could tell by your reaction, that's obviously not where you went. Where did you go?
I like that one too as well. I went Maggie's Touch.
Okay.
I think that this one has been just like in a bad sort of a situation. I think she's been racing good, but I just don't think nothing's been working for her in her last couple of starts. And I think that she's going to come up with a nice effort. I think that there's a lot of depth in this Maggie's Touch. We just haven't quite got to the best part of it just
French
yet.
Money Hanover is another one that's obvious to kind of think of as, filling exotics too.
Yeah, another one just to kind of be a part of it there. And I also threw Checkmaster in there too. I like the way that this horse is racing for Herbie right now.
Okay, but consensus seems to be Royal Flush Dale in race number 5. Back half of the card, we stick with trotters, race number 6. We've got a field of 8 in here. It's a nominators of 1. Late pick 5 will get underway in this spot. We see Anthony McDonald again for the stable with another Wallner in here. Love Sensation is her name. She made a miscue in her first start here back on February the 9th. Did you see anything there? That
not really.
What was
why
she showing you
did
before
it.
the break? Anything?
Just
or?
not really. I mean, she was kind of at the pack, and I think it was one of those nights there too. There that maybe the visibility wasn't the greatest.
Gotcha.
You know, one of those sort of situations. So I really don't know. I like the qualifier that she did before that. I watched him qualify her that day. She had good go on the end of it. She just you know, sometimes with these young trotters, it takes a while to get them set where you want them. You know, so I threw her in as just a part of it. I think there's a horse in here that's scary good, and I mean scary good. So let's take a look at the 2 horse in here. Hazel's Muscle for Team Backs. Matt Backs, Todd Ratchford going to be to the driving, and Todd was driving this one in her last start, and that's why I really like her tonight. I like the job that he does, but he knows how deep this one was last week. So let's take a look at the mile that Hazel's Muscle goes. Right now, been sitting towards the back. He does move out to the flow, but watch this. Horse makes a break, and unfortunately, he comes with them. Now he loses all this ground and now has to start her up basically cold. That's the big thing, starting a horse up cold, and she's a young horse and a trotter that, you know, doesn't wear any hobbles. So, I mean, he's in a bit of a tricky sit, but look at her coming down the lane. She's got all kinds of go still. He's got to snuff her here and bring her backwards. You know, I think that she was good to go. I think she looks fantastic in this race. She's just got to make sure she stays away from Southview Abraham, or he stays away from Southview Abraham, who was the one that ended up making the break and kind of taking him out of it last week.
Well, and what impressed me from that right there was the fact that he didn't run.
No.
When that horse broke right in front of him.
Yeah.
And carried him, that he didn't get tossed off of his gate. And obviously, I mean, he's going to get played again. Look how much he got played off the bench. I mean, he's 3-1.
That was a good qualifier.
In that race, you know what I mean? So there's ability, and you almost wonder if at that point, too, when that happened, Todd just said, I'm going to take care of him here.
Absolutely,
You know, I'm
100%.
not going to, you know, go to the well to try and see if he can get up there, because what's he going to get, 3rd or 4th? You know what I mean? I think he did right by the horse in that spot. So, yeah, I think you're onto a good one. I just got a feeling that you might not see 6-1.
No.
Not if he was 3-1 in his latest.
No,
and he's got an excuse why he was like that. Stormont Full of Life probably to get some play in here. What about Natalie Elliott with Charmble Cash coming here?
Yeah,
you know,
a couple of those ones look good in there as well.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you where I went in for second again. I went Scott Young. I went Zillennial. I thought that this was a really good effort, this one put in his last start. So, you know, I'm going to go that route. Interesting race, but nobody in here shows me what the talent, and like you said, the maturity of that horse, not making a break when that horse kind of came back into his face. Well, usually only a good one does that.
Let's go to race number 7 next. Late pick 4 getting underway here. We've got pop-up series. Claiming 20,000 for an almost of 30,000. This is leg 2 of this. A field of 8 in this spot. The free-legged Tour champion on the inside is the morning line favorite. I mean, is this just a more likable spot for him? You know, because he doesn't win a ton.
Yeah. I don't see how it could be a more likable spot. He's got the rail, and he's a free-legged big horse. It's good. The gate's going to be backing into him.
Yeah.
I think it's going to steal some of his momentum coming out of it. I think they're going to have to be real careful with him. And to tell you the truth, I've seen a couple of situations, you know, where in my opinion, the horse should have got the job done. The trip was there. All he had to do was push his face out in front of the rest of them, and he didn't want to do it. I find him right now, he's kind of, for whatever reason, kind of hanging. Might see this guy showing up on the Mighty Lasix list at some point. But either way, I did throw him in for second. I do look at him as a valuable hit the ticket, but I don't see him win column. Benjamin B, kind of interesting mile that he went last week. Yeah, raced really good. I'm going to throw him in for third, but I'm going to go back to Left Hand Lou. I used him on top last week. You can see what happened last week. I mean, you know, Tyler did the best he could. He fired him out of there, and he was 3 wide around the first turn, parked to the half in 56. By the time he got to the head of the lane, he had no answers for Better Beast or the rest of them. But let's go back to February the 2nd, the race that he went there, because this is the race that made me put him on top in his last. So let's take a look at race February the 2nd, had the rail, Left Hand Lou, coming out of the Montini stable. And I thought that this was a good one. And like I said, the last effort was a good one. It just didn't work out for him. But, you know, you've worked with me long enough. You know, and I know, I like a horse getting stretched out once in a while.
Right, and then coming back next start.
Right, so this is his next start. This is the start that kind of got me into him. I kind of thought right here it was a good effort. I mean, I know that he's not exactly doing it flashy or anything, but he's a big horse. He's staying with them, and at no point does he go backwards. He might not exactly excel forwards, but at no point does he go backwards. And I think that there should have been improvement. Now, last week, again, big, kind of a lazy kind of a horse. He gets rolled down the road. I think it's only going to make him stronger this week, so I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to go right back to a left-hand Lou.
Yeah, this owner, Stephen Davis, did he train as well at one time?
Yeah, had something. I think he's brother-in-law to Julie Austin.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember he used to
okay.
come up when Mark was here, Steve Davis.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
I just remember the name.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, pretty
All
sure
right.
that's who it is anyway.
Okay, so there we see the picks. You're the one that's going to go against the grain. Everybody riding with Tour Champion, but yeah, I like it. You're going for another option here in left-hand Lou. To rebound in race number 7. We're going to skip over 8 and 9. A couple of pacing events. The feature race of the night, $24,000 event, comes up in the finale, race 10. It's winners of 3, but not more than 5 for these trotters in here. An $80,000 optional claiming tag. Flash Chap is carrying that, so if you happen to have 120, with her allowances that she gets, being the mare, you can take her out if you'd like. And I know you're going to have a look back at Flash Chap's most recent race. She's playing with somewhat of a stale date, not too bad, but just a couple of weeks because she was scratch judges weather, as that's been a common theme for a bunch of them.
Dirty cold night, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, only a $4,300 carryover coming back into the jackpot high five after Chad. Chad emptied the till last night, took it all home with him there via the covered bridge. So let's take a look at Flash Chap. This is 2 starts ago. Had the 7-hole, got herself into the 2-hole. Good. Now, I myself agree with Chad. I mean, a little bit of a stale date, but I don't think it's a date that's going to absolutely do a real number on her in here. Travis Cullen driving this day for Louis. And that's the big thing, too. Remember, Louis Waugh is the owner of Flash Chap.
Yeah.
So you know that Louis Waugh is going to be trying to get everything that he can. Now here, I mean, again, I thought that she raced really well. Obviously, she's coming up the inside. She's not going to get the job done, but I thought it was a nice effort there, finishing 3rd that day. That was in the optional 80. She's going to come back to the optional 80. But the day that she finished 3rd in there, that's Cover Band and Supersonic Hanover that beat her. Supersonic Hanover back in here again, but we won't be seeing Cover Band with us tonight. And I honestly believe that, in my opinion, her biggest competition, unfortunately, drew the 9-hole.
Yeah, and Supersonic Hanover really outraced his odds last time in this classification, finishing 2nd, as we saw there, at 51-1. We've got more. J.R. Plant catching up with John Rallis to talk about the Blair Burgess student in the finale.
I was surprised he didn't get as much pop. You're right about that. I was in great position around the last turn, I thought, following Louis there. Sometimes, like you race against harder horses, higher class, and they don't respond as much, and sometimes that's why. But hopefully, Blair will find a little something, maybe help him out finishing this week. He's a fun horse again. He's versatile and he's strong, powerful. But yeah, I wish he had a little more finishing, but he wasn't bad either. Only got maybe 4 or 5. He's another horse that can do it. Hopefully he's going to be on his game this weekend. He's a strong horse, and he tells you behind the gate if he wants to go forward or not. And lately he's been wanting to push the gate, so I just let him go for a little bit. I go from there, but yeah, he can leave for sure.
All right, so some more good stuff there, courtesy of J.R. Plant with John Rallis with some nice interviews. Appreciate that. So Supersonic Hanover likely to get a little more play than he did the last time at this level. One thing I do want to point out, though, is that in that replay you showed, a horse that was rallying on the end of it was your brother's, Wild Turkey Hanover. That was after an early miscue, which we don't often see from him. Anything you heard or you saw that maybe caused that break?
I think it was just a matter that Phil was just trying to time him out of there, get him out of there. And he doesn't usually have a lot of leaving speed to go with him. Now he's going to come right back to the 4-hole here tonight. I just think it was just one of those one-off sort of situations. I'm going to throw him back in for 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I just want to say quickly, too, on that picture that we were just seeing of Supersonic Hanover, again, it's not hard to understand why Blair Burgess is in the Hall of Fame, just by the way he had that horse hung up. A lot of people, they put a choke plate on. They'll go to those big choke plates. He goes to the small one, which I always liked a lot better, the smaller one in there. But a lot of people, too, they'll lift their heads and then put a choke plate on them. That's not the way to go. What you should do is lengthen the check. Let them put it where they want, because that's the reason why they're shutting their air off, is you're trying to make it go where it wants to go. Let them do it. And he had a low check, little tiny choke plate, exactly the way another Hall of Famer used to hang his up when they'd go to a choke plate, Bob McIntosh.
Yeah, he knew a thing or two.
Yes, and I'm telling you, as a driver, the way he's got that horse hung up, if you have a choke plate on your horse, that's the way to do it.
All right. How about some tickets? You're riding high after you were at least
yes.
able to put together a winning Elite Pick
I wouldn't
5
let her
ticket
come
last
back
night.
either. I didn't want her to have any of the credit.
She's gone spending it, right? That's what she's doing, and this is what you've done. You've talked about the all that you've done in race number 2, where even though Divine Love liked to get some play, but a couple there, some singles as well. So I like what you've done here.
Yeah, just, looking for a little bit of value in race number 2. Like I said, I do like Divine Love, but my opinion is not strong. I go 4 deep in the race number 3. Again, I'm a little scared of my way. J-Port Cash is going to be my top pick, and I threw Bonito Boy and Captain Banya in as well in race number 4. Back to singles. This is going to be Volcanic. I just think he's kind of stamping himself as the horse to beat in this class, and he's got a good draw. And then in race number 5, I'm going to single Royal Flush Deo. He's in a little bit tougher this week, has a different driver on him this week, but what he's been showing us so far, I mean, look out.
Single. Yeah, okay. So a pretty cheap ticket there for Randy. What else do we have for tickets here tonight? Randy's pick 6. So we've got that carryover of nearly 6,500. Again, you've got some singles in there in race 5 with Royal Flush Dale, and then you've got another one in race number 6.
Hazel's Muscle.
Oh, okay.
That's the other single.
One.
And then the rest of it, it's pretty well, a little bit on the top to try to get me through it in race number 4, and then on the bottom. And if I can get to race number 9, I got pretty good coverage in there. I went Better Beast, Relentless, who I thought raced really good last week. Papa Joe, who I also thought raced really good, and all bets on Gary. Got him in there as well. So, I honestly think that some of the multis tonight are quite gettable.
All right, and we know there are going to be some good pools as well. Late pick 5 ticket here for Randy. Bookend singles for you.
Yeah, that'll be, race 6 is
Hazel.
Hazel. And then in race number 10,
Flash Chap
is going to be the single in there. So,
and then
again,
in between.
Yeah, lots of coverage in between. But again, not an overly expensive ticket, $24 if you want to play along.
And Randy will break these down throughout the night as well. Plays of the night here tonight that we've got. The Hall of Famer's got his 4-pack. An all-in, you've got some singles, so I got to think they're, right off the bat here, Validus.
Yeah, Validus is going to be my all-in. In race number 6 will be Hazel's Muscles, Waple's Watch. Worth a look will be Left Hand Lou, second time for me with that guy. And Beat the Favorite is going to be Flash Chap. I don't think that she's going to go off as favorite.
Okay. All right, so those are Randy's plays of the night. We've got some others, Jeff and the other handicappers. Good luck to everybody playing along here tonight. Thanks for tuning in on this holiday Monday. We are a few minutes away from the opener. I got to head upstairs to get ready for post-Sbred. Good luck to you down here tonight, buddy, and good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you, too, and great work per usual.
All right, we'll take a short time out, and we'll come back and get things all set up for the $75,000 guaranteed early pick 5.